Today, I'll be making one of my favorite dishes of all time, braised beef short rib. It's packed full of flavor and it's relatively easy to make at home. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it so it's fall off the bone tender. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more of my favorite bistro recipes. Now, let's see what we're working with. We're going to start off by making a nice aromatic base for the braising liquid so that we can cook these beautiful short ribs low and slow. We're also going to need some red wine and some beef broth. Now you'll want to cut your celery and carrots into roughly the same size so they cook evenly. Don't worry about cutting them too fine since they're going to be cooking for 3 hours. I like cutting them into 1-inch chunks just like this. I'm going to show you the best way to dice an onion. I learned this from an up-and-coming chef by the name of Gordon Ramsay. Now make some vertical cuts, but not all the way through so that the onion is still intact. Now you do the same thing with 3 slices across, and finally chop down to get that perfectly diced onion every time. Look at the size of these short ribs. They're huge, so make sure you season them well on both sides, just like this. I like using a nice Dutch oven for this, so get it ripping hot with oil and put your short ribs in. We want to get a nice sear on the short rib before we braise it. Just adds so much more flavor, so don't skip this step. Look at that beautiful color. Take your short ribs out of the pan and add in your onion and garlic. Toss in the celery and carrot as well. Stir this around and season. Once the onions have started sweating, add in about 3 teaspoons of tomato paste. This adds a nice sweetness to the braising liquid and also adds great color. Stir it around in the pan and then deglaze the bottom of the pan with some red wine. Also add in about 2 cups of beef broth. Throw in your thyme sprigs and a few bay leaves. Short ribs go back in. And you want the braising liquid to just about cover the short ribs just like this. And in the oven it goes for 3 hours at 350. Now let's make some side dishes. I like making sweet and sour Brussels sprouts. It cuts through the richness of the short rib really well. So just cut off the ends of the Brussels sprouts and cut them in half like this. And just slice up the salami into strips. Now the key is to get the salami nice and crispy. We also want to use this fat to cook our Brussels sprouts in. Season it well, and when they look nice and golden brown, add some of that aged balsamic vinegar. Wow, that smells amazing. I also like to make some mashed potatoes with this. Now, I really like leaving the skin on. I think it adds a great texture to the potatoes and makes things just more interesting. Now, these will take anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes, but you can always check with your knife to see when the potatoes are done. Once you've strained out all the water, add a splash of milk. Use a masher or a fork to break them up. If they feel a bit too dry, simply add in some more milk. Season it well and add a little knob of butter to finish it. Now just before they come out, sprinkle in some finely cut chives. Once it's been about 3 hours, it's time to take the short ribs out of the oven. Be very careful, it's extremely hot. And just look at that beauty. Let's zoom in on it so you can see more. Oh, not too much. The bones are literally falling off these pieces. You'll want to strain the sauce to make sure it's silky smooth. And go ahead and plate this up. Now just look at that beautiful short rib. I think it's time for me to dig in. Definitely give this dish a try and let me know what you think. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to get more of these delicious recipes.